You accepted the promotion. Congratulations. Now comes the part nobody prepared you for. The first 90 days will make or break your leadership credibility. What you do in the next 3 months determines whether your team trusts you, respects you, and follows you, or whether they're updating their resumes. This episode is your roadmap. Here's what usually happens in the first 90 days. Week 1, you try to prove you deserve the role. You jump into every problem. You make decisions fast to show your leadership material. Week 4, your team is confused. They don't know what you actually want. You've changed 3 things, started 2 initiatives, and nobody knows what matters most. Week 8, people are frustrated. You're micromanaging the details while missing the big picture. Or you're so hands off, they think you don't care. Week 12, you realize you've lost credibility. Your team doesn't trust your judgment. Your high performers are disengaged. You're working 60-hour weeks trying to fix it. Does that sound familiar? Here's the truth. The first 90 days aren't about proving yourself. They're about building trust, gathering intelligence, and setting the foundation for everything that comes after. Most new leaders get this backwards, and it costs them months, sometimes years, to recover. I'm Dr. 𝗪𝗏𝗍𝗏, and I've coached dozens of technical professionals through their first 90 days in leadership. And here's what I know. The first 90 days aren't a sprint, they're a foundation. What you do in this window determines whether your team trusts you, whether your manager sees you as strategic or overwhelmed, whether your peers view you as collaborative or territorial, whether you set a tone of clarity or chaos. You can't undo a bad first 90 days, but you can nail them if you know exactly what matters. So let's break it down day by day, week by week. Here's what to do and what not to do in your first 90 days as a leader. The first 90 days break down into 3 distinct phases. Each phase has a different focus and a different goal. In your first 30 days, listen, don't fix. Your first 30 days have one job: understand the system before you change it. I know you want to prove yourself. I know you see the problems that need fixing. Resist. Here's what you do in your first 30 days. Schedule one-on-ones with every person on your team, not project updates. It's a listening session. Ask, what's working? What's not working? What do you need from me as your leader? What should I know that nobody will tell me? Take notes. Say thank you. Don't defend. Don't fix. Just listen. Map the informal power structure. Who does the team actually go to for answers? Who has influence? Who's been here longest? Who's quietly carrying the team? That's not always on the org chart. You need to know it. Observe one complete work cycle. Watch how decisions get made, how communication flows, where bottlenecks exist, where quality breaks down. Don't change it yet, just notice it. Build relationship with peer leaders. You're not competing with them, you're collaborating with them. Schedule coffee, ask about their teams, understand dependencies. Here's what you don't do in your first 30 days. Make big decisions, reorganize the team, change processes, criticize how things were done before you took on the role. You don't have enough context yet. And if you move too fast, you'll lose trust before you've built any. The next 30 days, align, don't assume. Your second 30 days are about creating clarity. You've listened, you've observed, now you align. Here's what to do in day 31 through 60. Articulate your vision and priorities. Based on what you've learned, what are the 3 most important things your team needs to focus on? Not 10, 3. Communicate them clearly, repeatedly. Make sure everyone knows what matters. Align on how you'll work together. How do you prefer to communicate? How often will you meet? What decisions can they make without you? What do you need to be involved in? Set expectations explicitly. Don't assume people will figure it out. Identify your first quick win. What's one small thing you can improve that will build credibility? Not a massive reorganization, a process tweak, a communication fix, something visible and fast. Deliver it. Show your team you can execute, not just talk. Have the first difficult conversation. There's something you've been avoiding. a performance issue, a behavior problem, unclear expectations, address it. In month 2, do not wait. Waiting signals that mediocrity is acceptable. Acting signals that standards matter. Here's what you don't do in days 31 through 60. Try to be everybody's friend. Avoid accountability because you're still new. Say yes to everything. Ignore the problem everyone sees, but nobody's addressing. Month 2 is where you start leading, not just listening. Day 61 through 90, execute. Don't overcorrect. Your third 30 days are about delivering results. You've listened, you've aligned, now you execute. Here's what you do in days 61 through 90. Deliver what you said you'd deliver. Remember that quick win you identified? Complete it. Show your team you follow through. That builds trust faster than anything. Start delegating strategically. You can't do everything, and you shouldn't. Identify what only you can do and delegate the rest. Not to offload work, to develop your team. Establish your rhythm. Weekly one-on-ones, team meetings with clear agendas, decision-making processes, communication cadences. Make it predictable because consistency builds trust. Conduct your 90-day review. Sit down with your manager, review what you've learned, share your priorities, ask for feedback. Do not wait for them to do it. Own it. Here's what you don't do in your first 90 days. Declare victory too soon. Change everything at once. Burn out trying to prove yourself. Forget to celebrate the small wins with your team. Month 3 is where you prove you can sustain this, that you're not just sprinting, you're building something lasting. Now, let me tell you the number one mistake I see new leaders make in their first 90 days. They jump into every problem. They make decisions way too fast to show they're decisive. They work 70-hour weeks to demonstrate commitment, and they burn out their credibility fast. Here's what your team is actually watching for in your first 90 days. They're watching to see if you listen before you act. They're watching to see if you keep your word. They're watching to see if you have their back when things get hard. They're watching to see if you're consistent or if you change directions every week. They're not watching to see if you're the smartest person in the room. They already know you're smart. That's why you got promoted. What they don't know yet is, can you be trusted? And trust isn't built by solving every problem. Trust is built by doing what you said you'd do, admitting when you don't know something, making decisions transparently, protecting your team when it matters, being consistent in your standards and your support. You don't have to be perfect in your first 90 days. You do have to be trustworthy. And if you're promoted from within, if you're now leading people who used to be your peers, the first 90 days are even more complicated. Here's what you need to do. Acknowledge the awkwardness directly. Don't pretend nothing's changed. In your first team meeting, say something like, I know this is a transition for all of us. I was your peer, now I'm your manager. That's going to feel weird for a while. I'm going to make mistakes as I figure this out. I'm asking for your patience and your honesty as we navigate this together. Naming it takes the tension out of it. Have individual conversations with former peers, especially ones who also wanted the role. Say, I want to make sure we can work together effectively. I value your expertise. How can I support you in this new dynamic? Don't avoid them. Lean in. Set boundaries without being cold. You can't be their buddy anymore, but you don't have to be distant. You can still be warm, respectful, and supportive while maintaining professional boundaries. That means no more venting about management decisions with them, no more sharing confidential information, no more treating them differently than the rest of your team. It's uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Prove you're fair. Your former peers are watching to see if you play favorites. Make decisions based on merit, not friendship. Give feedback consistently. Hold everyone to the same standard, including the people you used to grab lunch with. If you do that, most of them will adjust. Some might not, but that's data too. You can't avoid the transition by pretending nothing changed. The role changed. The relationship has to change too. Here's what happens when you nail your first 90 days. Your team trusts you, not because you had all the answers, but because you listened, you were consistent, and you did what you said you were going to do. Your manager sees you as strategic, not because you worked the longest hours, but because you identified what mattered most and delivered on it. Your peers see you as collaborative, Not because you tried to be friends with everyone, but because you built relationships, respected boundaries, and supported shared goals. You have momentum. Not because everything's perfect, but because you built a foundation you can scale from. And most importantly, you have clarity. You're not guessing anymore. You're not performing confidence you don't feel. You know your team, you know your priorities, you know your rhythm. And that confidence, it's real because it's earned. Here's what I want you to do. If you're in your first 90 days right now, download the first 90 days playbook. The link is in the description. It breaks down every week with specific actions, conversation scripts, and decision frameworks. If you're past your first 90 days and struggling, it's not too late. Go back to the beginning, listen, align, execute. You can reset. Drop a comment. What surprised you most in your first 90 days? What do you wish you'd known? Your answers will help someone who's about to step into their first leadership role. And if you're supporting new leaders, so my managers, HR professionals, senior leaders, share this episode with them. The first 90 days are too important to leave to chance. Give your new leaders a roadmap. Don't just throw them in and hope they'll figure it out. Your first 90 days aren't about proving you deserve the role. You already have the role. It's yours. The first 90 days are about building the foundation for the leader you're becoming. Listen before you act, align before you assume, execute before you overcorrect, and trust that building slowly builds stronger. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be intentional. The next episode, what happens when you do everything right in your first 90 days and your team still doesn't respect you? We're talking about leading through resistance, skepticism, and the credibility test every leader faces, because respect isn't automatic, it's earned. And sometimes, no matter what you do, some people will still test you. We're covering how to lead through it. That's the next episode. I'm Dr. 𝗪𝗏. This is the leadership gap nobody talks about. You've got this. Listen, align, execute, and trust the process. Let's keep closing the gaps together.